Stewie and Brian don't want to work hard anymore. All they want is to marry wealthy old ladies. To achieve this, they are even willing to prostitute themselves. Recently, when Stewie was reading the newspaper, he found that Brian was staying with a centenarian old lady. Brian said they were just friends, but Stewie obviously didn't believe it. Brian started to explain.
Older women are cultured, worldly. I've got nothing to be defensive about. Her husband passed away.
Stewie noticed that Brian always left early and came back late, and he dressed more and more exquisitely. More importantly, he was also carrying an expensive luxury watch in his arms. It was obvious that Brian either won a big lottery or prostituted himself. Facing Stewie's questioning, Brian told him not to jump to conclusions. At the charity dinner the next day, Brian was accompanied by another centenarian old lady. This time, he created an image of himself as an admiral. He claimed that he had received first-class merit for defeating pirates. Even though he was such a successful person, he was still worried about the lack of funds for pet charity work. After hearing this, the old lady was immediately touched by his kindness. At the moment, she was considering giving a donation to either Brian or the neighbor, Carter. Brian turned around and saw that Stewie was also there dating a wealthy woman. There was no other way. When they met, they could only pretend not to know each other. Admiral, your badge is really admirable. It looks like it was pried off a game coin. Your hat looks like it was made by putting a paper cup on a speaker. Brian told Stewie to leave quickly. This was the social circle he had managed to get into with great difficulty. However, no one wanted to miss the opportunity to make money. Stewie said that there were plenty of old ladies here, and the inheritance would surely be enough for the two of them to share. Then the two of them took action together. They went to the racetrack and found the woman in the whole town who was best at getting married. This woman could inherit the estates of hundreds of wealthy people. As long as the last husband of the wealthy woman died, they would have a chance to get close to the wealthy woman. They managed to get on the ship where the wealthy man was and looked for an opportunity to kill the wealthy man. Just then, the wealthy man wasn't feeling well and went back to his room to rest. Brian immediately stepped forward and claimed that he was a doctor. In this way, the two of them sneaked into the room where the wealthy man was. Just as Brian was about to cause some trouble, he found that this husband was actually played by Quagmire. Quagmire had long planned to inherit the wealthy woman's property. He had carefully planned for 2 years. Now that the wealthy woman's health was getting worse and worse, he just needed to wait to receive the inheritance. Soon, as expected, the news announced that the richest woman in the town had died of a heart attack. Stewie and Brian originally thought that Quagmire had killed the wealthy woman. Just then, the doorbell rang. Quagmire came to the door and said that Brian was too treacherous and actually faked the wealthy woman's death. Both sides thought that the other side had done something, so they signed an agreement to divide the remaining property of the wealthy woman equally.
We're rich!
They thought they had finally achieved a rich ending, but the lawyer informed them that the wealthy woman had invested unsuccessfully during her lifetime and owed tens of millions of dollars in debt. Now these debts have fallen on Brian and Quagmire.
What a couple of rubes.
The wealthy woman took off her disguised mask.
Yes, that's right. It was a mixed story.